Hi, my name is Seth, and welcome back to Science with Seth. In this episode, we'll be covering the chemical reaction known as photosynthesis, and how this allows plants to thrive. To start to explain photosynthesis, we first need to take a look at where it all happens, and what parts of the plant are used in the process. Photosynthesis happens inside the chloroplasts, which are located inside of plant cells. Depending on what type of organism you're looking at, the amount of chloroplasts can change greatly. But for now, we'll be looking at plant cells, in which there are usually quite a few. Each of these chloroplasts contains stacks of thylakoid membranes, and each of these stacks is called a granum. Additionally, the second most important part of the chloroplast is located outside of these granum, the space between them, and this is filled with stroma, which is actually a liquid, and is where the Calvin cycle, a process I'll explain in a bit, takes place. First off, photosynthesis starts when the plant starts to collect the necessary ingredients for it to make sugar. As many of you may know, the plant takes in H2O through its roots and CO2 through its stomata. Now, I won't take the time to explain to you how the plant converts energy from the sun, but really quick, here's a diagram. And the most important parts to notice of this diagram are the positively charged hydrogen, which is used to make NADPH, or something I don't really want to pronounce otherwise, and ATP, both of which are energy that will be used in the Calvin cycle, the next and most important part of photosynthesis. Secondly, to produce glucose, the food the plant needs, the Calvin cycle must be completed. To start the Calvin cycle, CO2 is put through an enzyme called rubisco, short for something I refuse to pronounce, along with another molecule called RUBP, a 5-carbon molecule which, when fused to CO2, creates an unstable 6-carbon molecule, which immediately breaks in half, forming two 3-carbon molecules known as 3-PGA. In the real Calvin cycle, we would have started with CO2 and 3 RUBP, and would have now ended up with 6 3-PGA, which are now introduced to the ATP and NADPH we made before, which gives away ADP and NADP, leaving us with a new molecule known as G3P. Unfortunately for the plant, it's unable to let all those G3 go to make glucose, as the plant needs to recycle some of it to form more RUBP to start the cycle over, as it is a Calvin cycle. So, to solve this, it lets only one of the 6 G3P it made leave the cycle, only half of what is needed to form glucose, recycling the other 5 G3P. Now, we only have half of one glucose. What does the plant do next, you might ask? Well, luckily for the plant, it's got a solution. Imagine the time it took to complete the process of the Calvin cycle. Now, in that time, 5 more of those processes were also being completed. This leaves the plant with only 1 G3P from each process, but 6 G3P overall, enough to form 3 glucose molecules from each. Now, the plant can grow.